Hey guys, good morning. It's the third day of me staying in Matsuyama-city, and then today I'm going to visit the museum around the Matsuyama-city station, Matsuyama-shi. And also yesterday I wasn't able to visit the Udon restaurant that I really wanted to, so I'm make sure to be there before noon so that I can I don't know. There should be lines already at noon, so I should be there before maybe 11:30 or something. So, and also there are some places that I want to visit, and then at night I'm thinking of coming back to this Dogo place and then have this. You see the picture behind me. It's called Matsuyama-shi, which is like a Kyoto ryori in Matsuyama-city, local specialty in this area. So I'm gonna have it without the stuff that I cannot eat, since it does include like shellfish, but that's something that I can't eat. So anyway, yeah, that's my plan. And then at the end, I'm thinking of visiting the Asuka no Yu, which is like the hot spring near this Dogo Onsen Hong Kong. So yeah, let's go. We just started walking and found out this map that is using like kawara. I think it's a tile, and then on the tile you see like all these nice drawings, and having like a character of the people versus those are the people who are known to be a poet for haiku in Japan, and yeah, it's really interesting. And then here's Masaoka Shiki, the person I've introduced, and then known to be the very famous poet for haiku in Japan. I'm thinking of having a breakfast somewhere like here. I kind of interested in this. Maybe it's a Odango store. Kemuri Kohi. But it's a gelato shop that you can choose 2 cups out of them for 500 yen. 10時閉店。良さそう。Looks good. I want to try like Odango, but also a gelato. So maybe for the breakfast I can have Odango. So I've decided to stop by this Odango shop, but they also have sweets like gelato. Looks good. And then I ordered a mitarashi tango. Then she's now grilling the Odango first. Then here is the gelato. Looks good. I'll probably come back here for gelato later. Since it's a breakfast, I don't want to eat ice cream for that. I just bought mitarashi dango. Mitarashi is like sauce using like a soy sauce, but it's a little bit sweet sauce that is put on the dango, and yeah, so that's my breakfast. And then let's see the inside of it. So here you need to take off your shoes to go to the second floor. And I forgot to mention that this place is nice since they have like okakoyaki, which is like a salty how do you say? It's like a muffin, kind of Japanese type of muffin. And if you want not like sweet stuff, you can still buy it. So here's the interior. Looks nice. Oh, cool. There's like a Satsu. Wow.
開催は未来への始まり。私たちは安全安心環境保全の開催を目指しています。
I just arrived at this Matsuyama-shi Station, which is like a Matsuyama-city station. And the thing you need to be careful about when you are traveling around this, exploring this Matsuyama-city is that there's there's something complex about these stations in this Matsuyama-city. So there are two main stations here: Matsuyama Station, which is like a JR station, and then also the Matsuyama-city Station, Matsuyama-shi Station, which is the one that I'm seeing right now in front of me. So they are different, things. And then Matsuyama-eki, Matsuyama JR Station, that is 22 minutes walk from this Matsuyama-city Station. And then actually, so Matsuyama-city Station is located in the more like urban area of this Matsuyama-city. And then the JR Matsuyama Station is a little bit off from the main area. And then the first time I visited the Matsuyama Station was like, I got surprised by the look. It looked kind of obsolete. You can say it's like, it has a good taste in old style, but and then it was like when I was visiting Wajima, so like 2-3 months ago. But right now they renovated the inside, so it looked very new actually. And then so this Matsuyama-city Station has like this gigantic shopping malls like Takashimaya, which is one of the most famous ones in Japan, Hyakkaten. And then you see, above that you see like the Kanransha, and there's like a lot of shops. And then if you take a walk from that station, you get to this. So here, if you have the station on your back, and then you see this Gintengai, so which is leading to the Daikaido, the biggest shopping street. And then if you keep straight, you can get to the castle, and then the modern house that I saw yesterday. So here, you see McDonald's and many shops on the street. So then so I've decided it's already 11 o'clock. So I've decided to visit the udon restaurant first, since I'm guessing that there will be a lot of lines there. So it's a very organized, nice shop street, I think. So I walked about 5 to 10 minutes on this street, and then finally found a restaurant called Kotori. You see there. So it's like a really how to say, small street, on the small street, coming from that big street. And then Nabeyaki Udon. So I guess they are not open yet. Oh yeah, they are still already open. Oh, that's good. Payment is made in cash only. So it's a little bit early actually for lunch, but I think it's okay. So let's try. Okay, here I have just ordered the Nabeyaki Udon, which is the most popular and the signature food in here, and then, which is this one. Oh, it's so. And then I've also ordered inarizushi, and all of the, so Nabeyaki Udon is like 750 yen, and then this one is 150 yen. Inarizushi might look weird to other people, so this is like a rice, wrapped with the aburage, which is like made by the tofu, like a fried tofu kind of. So it looks good. So, いただきます。お出汁が、すごいあっさりしてて美味しい。 just finished lunch, and it was really good. I really liked that Nabeyaki here. The soup was very light, like it's not too strong, but I think it was a fish broth, but I really liked it. And then the noodle was moderately thick, which I also loved. So yeah, it's definitely a recommended place. Just had bought a chiffon cake here, sold here in this mini shop, and then one is just sold at about 100 yen, 100 yen, and then having like many flavors. So I'm looking forward to eat it for like oyatsu. Yeah, that's like how do you say, kanshoku? It's like a middle snack you have between lunch and dinner. So at the underground street of the Matsuyama-city station, you can find these coin lockers, so that if you have a big stuff, you can still put it. And yeah. So I just finished lunch and then going to the a museum called Botchan Museum. And then as far as I see that explanation about the place, it's not very big, so you can just stop by for a few minutes. Oh, so here it is, Botchan Museum. So as the map says, it's like behind the Starbucks. And then yeah, let's check it out. Oh wow, Starbucks Resort. Here, so it's a Starbucks Reserve, and then if you just pass through it, you can find this place area where you can see the museum of this Botchan. Wow, すごい. Yeah, so this one is the one that I saw at the Dogo Onsen station, and then so it says that this is like the first train used for this Iyo Railroad. And then you see that here, Gensu Moke. So this one isn't the real train. This is like a moke, like a model of the like the first train that ran in Iyo Tetsudo, Iyo Railroad, and then he has like a map of it. And then yeah, like a history of the train, how the Iyo Tetsudo, Iyo Railroad has developed since 1887, starting in 1887 to the current days. Wow. It was, it's a nice place to see the history of this place. I mean the Matsuyama-city through the perspective of trains development of the railroad, and then having like many exhibitions and pictures, and also video. Oh wow, cool. Nice, huh? And then actually the Starbucks also really looking nice. As it says, it's like a Starbucks roastery, which is like I don't really understand the concept, but it's like using like a higher grade of coffee beans, I think. Sorry, I may be wrong, but anyway, so like the place is very spacious and then nice. Very nice interior. Okay. So I was checking out this exhibition about this Botchan Museum, and then so the reason why this train was called Botchan is because, as I've said, Botchan is like the most popular literature about this Matsuyama city, and written by Natsume Soseki. And then so this steam locomotive train was actually the one that was running in this Iyo railroad. Iyo is all the way of calling the Matsuyama area, I mean the Ehime Prefecture. Then this one is like the model train, and then which was actually the train was at the time imported by Britain, and since at the time a lot of technologies were imported by other countries, especially England is the one that it was Japan was importing the advanced technologies and the knowledges in the many industries. And then so this person is Kobayashi Nobuchika. He is the first president of the Iyo Railroad Company, and then he at the time it was 1887 when he started the company. Then so this private railroad company is the second private railroad company in Japan. The first one was actually in Osaka, and then so this is like the second in the history. So at the time, the history of the railroad in Japan was, at the beginning, it was developed by the Japanese government, but due to the civil war that happened in the southern part of Japan, which was called the Seinan Senso, because of that, the government was having a problem with the budgeting and financing. So, they needed to promote developing the railroad by the private companies. Then, so this is the one that then he at the time wanted to. Reason why he wanted to start a company is that he wanted to transport the timbers from other part of Ehime to this place and then send it to the Osaka. But at the time, shipping was very high, so he thought he needed to have the railroad in this Ehime prefecture. Then he applied that to Japanese government, and with the detailed planning, documentation, and how that is realistic it is to have the railroad in terms of the finance. Then so that's how he somehow made it to happen. Then the reason why we have two main stations, as I've said, there's like this Matsuyama-city station, Matsuyama-shi, and also JR Matsuyama Station. So the reason is that JR Matsuyama Station is a part of the JR station. JR is like it used to be a national railroad developed by the government. Actually now it was in 1987. It was divided into private companies. So the government doesn't have the share of the stocks right now. So it's basically run by private companies. But it was basically developed by the government. So those railroads are the part of the JR stations. Then Matsuyama Station is one of them. Then, but Matsuyama-city, Matsuyama-shi Station, so is like a part of this Iyo railroad. So that is a difference. So anyway, back to Kobayashi Nobuchika. After developing that railroad, he also committed himself to establishing Iyo Ginko, the Bank of Iyo, and also Iyo Suiryoku Denki, which is like current Shikoku electronic company, and many other companies that is helping the economy in this Shikoku area. So during the Meiji period, so he was the one who really was an important person to lay the foundation of the economy in this Ehime area. So and then forgot to mention. So the reason why he started thinking about having this private railroad company, is that so he noticed that so there's a way to have the railroad called Keibin Tetsudo, which means like having like a gauge, like a width of the gauge is narrower than the normal railroad, and then that's making the cost of having a train cheaper than the normal ones. And then as you can see here, so the normal railroad, the width of the gauge would be less than about 3 feet, which is like 1067 millimeters. And then this Botchan Tetsu's width of gauge at the time when it was started, it was like 762 millimeters. So that's how, that's why, it was like the gauge was narrower. Then he has also many stuff like, there was like, it says songs for the Iyo Railroad when you started. It was like Meiji 41年, so that was like about 100 years ago. Yeah. And then people must be very excited about having this railroad. So, wow. Then here you can see like what is it? It's like a tsurikawa. It's like a hang where you can, where you can hold when you are inside train. Then each of them have like feature of places. For example, this one is like a Mikan, and then this is like a Shikoku pilgrimage. There's like a temple called Ishiteji, which I am visiting later, either today or tomorrow, which is the 51st ban of Shikoku 88 temples. And it's like a brand mark of Imabari Tao, and it's a Nabeyaki, and then it's like a Ehime Sugi. Sugi is like a cedar, I guess. Then it's like a tart, like a fruit, like a sweet that is popular in Ehime, something like that. So it's cool. So anyway, I just found out it's, this person is a very important person to be remembered. So this inside the Botchan Museum, it's good that you can sit and rest, even though there's like a Starbucks next to it. You can you can rest there as well. But I'm just nice. I thought it's nice to have take a look of the exhibition, and then just bought a chiffon cake at the store that I just was visiting. So, いただきます。I can't believe it's 100 yen. Oh, it's good. So here is the place I'm visiting next. So it's called Shikido, which is about like it's like a house of Shiki, like a Matsuyama-shi. And this is like a few minutes, just a 2-3 minutes walk from the your Matsuyama-shi Station. And here, Shikido 入場受付。Shikido とは。So this is like recreating the house where Masaoka Shiki used to live, and then as it was, and then actually, sorry, yesterday when I was visiting the Sakana Unoku Museum, I wasn't mentioning enough about the protagonists of the literature. So like the people, as I've said, that was about the people from Matsuyama-city, and then one of them is so this Masaoka Shiki, and then the other ones are Akiyama brothers. They are both from Matsuyama, and then one is the older brother was serving for Navy. Army, and then the younger brother was the one who was serving for Navy. Yeah, and then the brothers are good friends of Masaoka Shiki as well. So here, it's a Botchan Resha no Kyakusha. Also, this is like a part of the train of Botchan Resha, which I just saw. Like I just saw the model. Also, it's saying that like it's going to from Matsuyama to Mitsu area, and then so this was given by the Iyo Railroad Company, and then so this is actually was used for the train that has a room that where customers can sit in, and then I can go up there, I guess. Yeah. Oh, inside there's also like drawings, and then a picture of Masaoka Shiki and then Natsume Soseki. And yeah. 降る雪や明治は遠くなりにけり。福建坊ちゃん客室。あ。Okay. She has a statue of Tanuki. And then Shikido no komodo akiari yo keto. So there's a lot of haiku, of course, because he was known to be a saint of haiku. So here, Shikido yo oide tanamomoshi. Oh, so the day before yesterday I talked about Shiki, and then he translated many words in English about baseball into Japanese, but actually he is the one who created the word yaku, which means baseball in Japan. Wow. Which when you write yaku by Chinese character, it means field and also ball. Like the first letter means field, and then the second one is balls. So that's how when he was 17 years old, that's when he created the word yaku. Yeah, that's very interesting. So later on, he worked in the newspaper companies and having columns about haiku. Then also did a war correspondent in Nishin Senso. So then Natsume Soseki and then Shiki stayed together in a Gudabutsuan, which must be somewhere in this Matsuyama-city that I'm very curious about. Then later on he started writing about haiku in newspaper Japan called Nippon. Then also he has started publishing about the magazine about haiku called Hototogisu. Then it was read by the people in Japan and greatly contributed to spread that culture. So this is like the house resembling the one where Shiki lived until he became 70 years old before going to Tokyo. Tabidachi. So the greatest haiku poet about to leave to study literature in Tokyo. Okay. Wow, interesting. So you can only come up to this place. Maybe you take off your shoes. It looks it's free. 勉強部屋. This is like a study room for Shiki. Wow. That's the picture of Shiki. It's a picture? Yeah. 自画像. So he was raised in a relatively wealthy family, I think, because his relatives and grandfather was like a doctor of Jugaku, and so this one is Hototogisu. Like I said, it's like a magazine about haiku that he published. But he died at the age of around 35. After that, so this magazine was taken care of by his student about haiku, who are Takahama Kyoshi and Kawahigashi Shikido. Those are the two other famous haiku poet from Matsuyama-city. 四季が病没するまでのわずかの期間に枕に頭をつけたまま描いている写生帳。So he drew these illustrations as well. Wow. Oh, here. Oh my gosh. I missed here. 俳句と野球、四季。 So Shiki wasn't only about haiku. He did, the way he created haiku, and then also he must be very knowledgeable about literature as well. So influenced a lot toward the novelists in Japan. Okay, so I just finished checking the Shikido, and then I got to know more about about Masaoka Shiki and then Natsume Soseki, and then it's how the evolution of the literature culture in Japan. So as they stayed together for a certain period of time, they talked about literature culture in Japan, and then later on the description said that Soseki was very much influenced by Shiki, and then Shiki's thought about the way we use words, and then so later in his life he committed more about creating novels, and then later on then we are now even today we are reading his works, many of his works, like I said, like Botchan and then Kokoro, and then that's the one that I read when I was in school. So that is pretty much shaping how we Japanese people feel about things, like anger, many feelings, and then so like we did in the Meiji period, that is still at some point that is the same. So yeah, anyway, it was interesting. And in here I thought it's free to enter, but actually you have to pay 50 yen for the entry, but you still get this ticket, looking nice, back and forth. And then also you get this what's that? It's like a train ticket that was designed to resemble the one that used to be used during the when this railroad Botchan was actually running. So yeah, and on the back it has that quotes about from the Botchan, the literature Botchan. So yeah, that's where you're gonna have to pay for the ticket. Okay, so I'm down in here, so going to maybe the last place to visit for today. So I'm heading to the Ehime Bijutsukan, which is like probably like the most biggest museum in this Ehime Prefecture, and they're having like a lot of great artworks. So I'm now going through this museum, and then here is like a swan that is how do you say? How can I say? Yeah, like this. Wow. It's been a long time since I see the swan so closely like this. Wow. That's a good surprise. Oh, he's going to go down. Whoa, so close. That's so cute that he's shaking his butt. Wow, just arrived. That's a huge building. Wow. This. Okay, this is the Matsuyama Ehime Bijutsukan, Ehime Prefectural Museum, maybe. Yeah, it would be like a Ehime Museum, I guess. So, wow, that's a huge one. So now they are having like a special exhibition about Banksy. Oh, this is nice. You can stand there. And take a picture like that. One of the most famous drawing of by. And then also there's also exhibition about the Dogo Onsen hot spring. Cool. So I just got inside the museum, and then so here's a huge space at the entrance. And then today, this time, so they have like a special exhibition about the Banksy and also Dogo Onsen. And I'm very, Banksy is one of my favorite artists, but I've seen movies, and then I've been to his exhibition before, so I'm not stopping by at there this time. So I'll be just what I wanna see is the normal exhibition that they are having, which is always, which can be seen anytime. So yeah, so not here. I'll be checking. Not Banksy. 常設展示室、あれ、あっちかな? Maybe that way. Hey guys, so I just finished exploring this inside the museum, and yeah, it was great. So about the architecture here, this museum was designed by Tokunaga Shozo, who is like the same, how to say, dokyusei, same generation with the Tanka Ending, who is known to be one of the greatest architects in the Showa period in Japan. And then so this museum very how to say, characterized by this, on my back you can see rounded surface, and of this, how to say, this gigantic spaces floating on the sky. Yeah, I like that. And then also inside that was very spacious, and then so you could rest inside, and with the chairs prepared. And then also about the regular exhibition, I could enjoy and seeing the works of the local artists, who are from this Ehime Prefecture. The one that I saw was Sugiura Hisui, and he is kind of like a leader of the modern designing in Japan. He worked as a graphic designer like 100 years ago. Then he is from Matsuyama-city, and then so he started working in Mitsukoshi department store, which is the first Japanese department store, which started from having like a clothing store in Kyoto, like 17th century. Then now they are like one of the biggest shopping center department store in Japan at the beginning of the 20th century. So he started working as a designer in the Mitsukoshi, and then he was because Mitsukoshi saw that he has a great talent, and then so Mitsukoshi supported his works. Then he got hired by Mitsukoshi. Then he worked there for 27 years as head of the head of designing department. Then he has created a lot of like posters, very impressive posters featuring many times ladies and their fashions. So that was very interesting. Yeah, and then other artists are like Takahashi Shuso. He is known to be his dreamlike artistic style, like this drawing. So it is it is realistic in a way, but still, I think like the outline of the, how to say, the materials he draws are kind of like a faded. I mean the color, and also like the background. So that makes that works more dreamlike. Yeah, which does very beautiful. Yeah, I think. And then the last one is the works by Azechu Metaro. His works are characterized by its very unique style, like this. Yeah, once you see it, you can't forget. Yeah, and he's an artist from Wajima-city. Then when I was visiting Wajima, I got to know about him. I think so. Yeah. Then there was a museum. I think it was in Wajima or somewhere in Ehime, but I didn't have time to visit. But yeah, his works were used for book cover in this regular exhibition, and yeah, I'm happy to see his works as well. And then next to the museum, I mean, so these are the two. So this one is like there are two main buildings, and the one is for museums, another one is for cafe. and then the ladies are not closing the store. But this cafe looked. I just looked inside from the window, from the outside, and it looked really, having like very comfortable chairs. So if you want to have time, you can stop by. So good. So yeah, I'm done with pretty much exploring what I wanted to see today, and then I actually got to know there's a museum about Itami Juzo, who is known to be most, how to say, very popular movie directors, whose movies are also known and awarded for like foreign, prominent film industry, film awards. And then I've seen several of his works, and then I got to know that, I wasn't sure if I should visit there, but when I was visiting the Kotori, the udon restaurant, there was like a brochure there, and then that was very interesting design. I loved it. So yeah, I kind of decided to visit. Yeah. So tomorrow, or no, maybe the day after tomorrow, I'll be visiting there. And also there are several spots that I left out not visiting this time during the past days. So that's what I'm gonna do in 2 days, because tomorrow I'm thinking of visiting Aoshima, which is known to be the island of something that I'm very curious about. You can probably tell. Then there's also another place called Nabeyaki, which is known to be very photogenic spot in Ehime Prefecture, without having really like nothing except for like horizon that you can see in the sea. So that I wanna stop by there on the way back. So I'll keep you updated. So I've decided to go back to the Dogo Onsen area. Then I haven't mentioned that this tram in this Matsuyama-city. I think I just mentioned a little bit. So this tram is like very convenient. You can if you go to the Matsuyama City Center area, you can get in by paying 230 yen, either or cash. If you pay by cashless, like mobile application like Mikan or IC card, mobile Ikoka, which is like used as a cashless payment for trains in I think in this area. So like if you pay 210 yen, this little bit cheaper than like a cash. That you pay 230 yen. So anyway, if I go back to Dogo Onsen, you get in the line 5, and it comes like every 15 minutes, almost every 15 minutes, from 10 to 12. So that's very good. And then I'm now waiting for that. You can of course walk to the Dogo Onsen area from this Matsuyama Castle area, but it takes about from where I am, it's going to take 45 minutes by walk. And then where I get in the ropeway to get to the top of the Matsuyama Station, it was like 25 minutes walk to the Dogo Onsen area, so which is very acceptable. So either way, it works. So I'm now back at the Dogo Onsen area, and then I thought that my back really hurts. So I think it's better to take a bath first, then stopping by this Asuka no Yu. And then so this one, as I said, it's like a building is looking like one built in Asuka era, where Prince Shotoku lived as a politician. So let's get inside. Shi no toko ni sebi na kitsuru
トトギス赤き魂なお燃え立ちて死の床に背び泣きするホトトギス赤き魂なお燃え立ちて On his deathbed, the cuckoo lies but cries out, his crimson soul burning ever still. On his deathbed, the cuckoo lies but cries out, his crimson soul burning ever still.